in Kano.
Boko Haram on the rampage earlier this year in northeast Nigeria.
You go eat knife like this. If you finish, you go put it inside your back. Your head, you go carry and put it inside your back.
For the past week, the Islamist extremists have been terrorizing villages in Goza near the Cameroonian border. There are reports of hundreds dead.
Now like this, he killed my grandma.
Homes were still on fire.
What happened to the dead people? Have they been buried?
There are many past us in the village. There are so many. Some of them they have helicopter. Some of them they come with car, with the gun. You see the motto that Army Force was fighting with, they have it.
The bike, motor, knife. My father, my brother, my sister. Just you, they run, they fire you.
They will call all the people in a particular town or a village. Everybody has to come, whether a small kid or a big person. Everybody has to come to watch this trial.
For some, the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast is merely fiction. For others, however, it is the reality.
The 9-year campaign of butchery by Boko Haram, which wants to establish the rule of radical Islam, has resulted in over 20,000 deaths and the displacement of over 2.6 million Nigerians, with around 155,000 settled in neighboring Cameroon, Chad, and Niger. According to the United Nations Refugee Agency, internally displaced people are those who have not crossed the border to find safety. Unlike refugees, they are on the run at home. We are here in the heart of Abuja, the bustling capital of Nigeria, where there are over 3,000 people displaced in this camp, having escaped the country's conflict-ridden northeast. Hadiza has lived in the camp for 5 years. She fled from Goza Borno state. Her story, like others, is harrowing.
They didn't like boys or men at home. So we are also afraid. Then kill my husband in front of my eyes. I also afraid of the town again before I came home. The boys, I hide them in Ghana must go. Because I know how to sew clothes. I turn the cloth down. I also put that 2 boys in that big Ghana must go. I put the remainder cloth. In the night, in the evening, in the morning, I also put tea, small tea to give them to save their life small. I fry granite small with beans, with salt, to put it in the sun small. In the night, I also give them, they either themselves to eat. We are 24 days before we came midnight to the Madagali. The boys they finished to kill some. Some of them, they hid inside the sling. Some of them, they hid themselves inside a soak away. Some of them, they hide themselves inside, they enter the water and stay inside the water. If you get a ladder, you put the ladder inside the well for them and close the mouth of the well. You also put sign on it. They didn't know that there is well here. Put sign in the night. In the midnight, you also take water, tea, Lipton, to give them. You also cover it for them. I have added about 18 men in my sling before I come out. There is men, businessmen, where they run, come to my inside room, come to my room, come to my house. I added them. They are 18 in number.
Hadiza's story is chilling, sad, but not unique. Many women survived because Boko Haram jihadists targeted men. Many men survived through the ingenuity and bravery of the women. The IDP camp is filled with women and children who bear the burden of the conflict-scarred, forever living in the knowledge that their fathers, husbands, sons are in captivity or worse, dead.
Well, they are not killing a woman. We also put hijab for them, put liqab. We also clean the face, rub a powder, put liqab, put hijab. Even our emir of our area was come out with hijab. You put a long dress like this, put hijab. If you see many women, they are walking out to the mountain, there is about 10 or 8 men inside, 2 women or 3. I have 24 days before I come out, until I pack those men to the mountain and also gather my girls and boys in one side, who also come out in the midnight.
Hadiza and her family left their village in Goza and fled to Maiduguri. The trek took her and her 7 children 6 days. And along the way, near Mubi, she gave birth to her 8th child.
Here in this IDP camp in Abuja, everyone have been uprooted from their homes. They've watched their family members die. They've lived through untold trauma and are currently living with the scars of Boko Haram. In Abuja city center, they have been forgotten by the government and the international communities. These people live segregated from the society as they wallow in the conflicts that brought them here.
Boko Haram pushed me from Baga. I go to my own village. Again, Boko Haram go there. I ran to Cameroon. From Cameroon, Wahala day too much there before come to Abuja straight.
Boko Haram came to our village so early in the evening like this. They just attack everywhere before they started shooting. Women was running, and the men, if they catch men, they will kill. Most of our men, they are dead in that place. But some of them, they escaped. Where the women, we trek from Bama to Maiduguri with our kids. When we came here, we have to look for IDP camp to come and live here.
The villages were sitting peacefully. By that time, we are also doing our market, and they are, for some people that they are farming. Some of them they are doing fish farming, garden. Everything is moving normally, firstly, and at long last we are also see ourselves in danger.
Here in the shadow of Nigeria's capital, where lawmakers and diplomats live in plush surroundings, the displaced live in deplorable conditions. Their leaky tents, now their homes for nearly 8 years. Displaced by violence, they are Nigeria's forgotten people, for whom accessing adequate food, shelter and safe drinking water is becoming increasingly difficult.
It is only a camp by name, not by structure. So unfortunately, the intervention agencies of government saddled with the responsibility to intervene and make life easy for us. I'm more concerned about IDPs at home than IDPs in Abuja. Why do I say so? Since there is no particular month or day, I want to believe the federal government reached out to us not more than 3 occasions within the past 11, 10 years. The existence of IDPs as individual or as a group.
Some of the tent they don't have windows, they don't have floor. Some they don't have even Vita form. Some they are just lying down. They will spray their wrapper to lie down on top. Like this during rainy season like this, we are not getting it easy because no matter how we repair the tent, water are dropping inside, and some of our children are suffering from. You will see something like this, you will just swallow up. For the children that are starting scratching their body, if you press the place, it's warm are coming inside because of the tent. No matter how you repair it, if water drop inside, it will producing some ant or producing some egg inside.
1 in 4 of the internally displaced people are under 5, and 80% are women and children. Survival for all is reliant on essentials supplied by international charities and NGOs. And yet, the internally displaced feel let down and want better support from the government. In Nigeria, it is the National Emergency Management Agency that looks after the welfare of the IDPs.
I feel for myself, but I feel more for the women, particularly the women that have children. Even the ones who have a husband but have children. When it is raining, it's not easy. Above all, after feeding, accommodation is the health challenge. I want to appeal to Mr. President. As far as Abuja FCT-based IDPs are concerned, we are on the verge of extinction.
We do not have a national center that I can speak to in this nation that can give us a complete narrative of what has happened to internally displaced persons. And therefore, we are not studying that phenomenon. And therefore, our response in itself is weak, is ad hoc, and our sense of anticipation. Remember that camps are not like NYSC camps. These are migrants, people who have to leave their place suddenly, forcefully, for one reason or the other. And this response team that you see from NEMA comes with a lot of publicity and media. What we are saying is beyond the facade of publicity, is what do you do in a situation in which we don't really have enough knowledge on the ground. Emergencies occur everywhere.
According to a study by the Singaporean Journal of Social Science on the occupational challenges of IDPs in Abuja, loss of employment, vocational discrimination, marginalization by employers of labor, isolation, and lack of occupational freedom are some of the main problems faced by the displaced.
Of the over 30,000 IDPs that are resident in Abuja, thanks to God that of the over 30,000, not up to 5% are dependent on leaf materials. All the others are on their own, working on their own, on trading or laboring. It's a negligent percentage, not up to 5% that we are. And despite that few, still it's difficult that we access.
What government feed do for me if I no go to my village now? I no go happy for my life, like my dad. Either my dad their life, either my dad in not their life, nobody will know.
The shifting attention of the international media rarely comes to Nigeria. Now once, when a victim, probably a foreigner, gets killed, the attention is shifted here. Worst is when you have an international sensation like Michelle Obama speaking about the plight of victims in Nigeria. The UN rarely deliberates or debates on the issues of violence in Nigeria, and when they do, it hardly makes news. Now, the stories of these women, men, and youngsters remain untold largely to the international community.
My husband and I are outraged and heartbroken over the kidnapping of more than 200 Nigerian girls from their school dormitory in the middle of the night. This unconscionable act was committed by a terrorist group determined to keep these girls from getting an education.
Boko Haram has claimed thousands of lives since 2009 and displaced about 2 million people.
Children in Nigeria are facing a grave threat due to the atrocities being carried out by Boko Haram. With over 50,000 children orphaned by jihadist violence in northern Nigeria, children are often preyed upon and weaponized as suicide bombers. The UN must act now to protect children in Nigeria. 15-year-old Leah Sharibu continues to be a prisoner of Boko Haram. She was one of the 110 girls kidnapped in February of 2018. Action must be taken now to demand Leah's immediate release and to protect Nigeria's children.
On April 14, 2014, the Boko Haram terrorists came into my hometown, Chibok, at night while everyone was asleep. They were shooting guns while coming to our town. I was sleeping and haven't heard of it. My friend waked me up and said, "Joy, can't you hear what is going on?" I said, "No," and I went back to sleep. She said, "Get up, we cannot go to sleep. Something is wrong. The Boko Haram people are here."
Living here in the IDP camp in Abuja, victims of Boko Haram try to create a future for themselves. They live in the hope of returning home, for an end to violence, for the future to obliterate past trauma.
I want my village prepared no Boko Haram day before go there. But Boko Haram day still living in my place as Mandra Mountain. Nobody there again since 6 years. Nobody entered to my place. I want government to be with him and prepare my village to go there.
Respect is a way of showing regret for people. It is important that we show respect for people in our country.
What do you want to become when you grow up?
Doctor.
Doctor? What do you want to do?
I'll help sick people. Teacher.
Teacher? Me, sir.
Because I want to teach the people where they're not going to school.
Okay.